Hello, welcome to the fourth episode of Slamcast, a series where we get to know bands playing SummerSlam 2023, bands that have played, bands that might play, and pretty much some other bands and people within the underground music sphere. Today, our two fine gentlemen, Benji and Mike from Waterlines, aka FKA, Sertraline. Oh, how are you guys doing?
Much worse, could it?
What happened to you?
That literally could not have gone much worse.
You started and you left.
I know. What an absolute joker. I just wanted to add a little bit of spice to the interview, you know, just keep it interesting.
Oh, dude, there's plenty of spice. Don't worry about that. Got some spicy questions coming up.
Right, I'm in. Anyway, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
What happens. So, the thing at the moment with you guys, though, what I wanted to get into first is that obviously you've reformed and rebranded from another band that's been around for donkey's years. So, how did the rebrand come about? After Lizzie left Sertraline and stuff, you guys were probably in some kind of state of like change, anyways. Now, you're already a good band. Now you've just leveled it up like to 11, and it's great. How did the whole like name change come around? How did you end up with Ben? All that kind of stuff. What happened there?
I'll let Mike, you go up to when I joined, and I'll do after.
Sound. All right. Well, as soon as Lizzie gave us the news about what she wanted to do, my first instinct was to ring around everyone. Everyone did want to carry on, which thank God, because it wasn't a project that, for one, it wasn't a project that I wanted to say goodbye to in any way. So I thought, well, we're going to have to find a new singer then. We explored the idea of having, well, I don't know what we wanted. We decided to keep it kind of vague and see who we got through the door just to see what we could do, because we all thought Lizzie's shoes would be rather tough to fill. So we thought maybe we'll just buy new feet, if you like. So we'll sort of change in that regard. And so we thought about it quite carefully and then put out an advertisement online. And a few people got in touch. Some people sent demos. And obviously Ben was one of them. And he was the second person we auditioned. And he came flying through the doors of the audition room with beers in hand, wearing a white jacket. It's like, all right, lads, I'm Ben. How are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want a beer? Yeah, sound. So we handed around beers to everyone.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, and it was all right, Ben, how you doing? Yeah, I'm Mike, blah, blah, blah. By the way, would you mind giving us 5 minutes? We're just finishing this guy's audition yet. He didn't realise. He blundered in through the door, disturbing someone else's audition.
Oh, dude.
And it was the best. And we've told that story quite a lot, just because it sums up Ben quite a lot. I think it's great. So he did an audition with us. We tried to choose the most challenging songs we could, and the way Ben did it was so powerful, and it made us move around a lot as well. It cheered us up quite a lot. And so obviously Ben ended up being the man for us. And we're very, very happy with the choice we made.
Yeah, he does have an energy about him, don't you, Benji?
It's just pure. Yeah, just I can't contain it.
No.
But yeah, like I think from that point we pretty much. So I remember saying in the audition room, like, okay, so I mean, well, it wasn't in it. It was actually when they called me and said, sort of, you're in. Do you want to come down for another practice? And I was like, yeah, all right. So we went down and we met up and we had a jam. And I was saying to the boys, right, so what have we got booked in? Like, when's the next gig? Oh, yeah, it's Download.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I was pushing quite hard to get in another gig first. We did manage to get another one, so we managed to play our first gig at Sertraline in Satan's Hollow, which was quality. I really enjoyed that. And then we pretty much started writing instantly. Like, there was loads of stuff that we wanted to do. So we wrote Halo first, and we managed to get that ready to play at Download. And then I think while we were on stage at Download as Sertraline, we already had Koenig sort of in the process. It was sort of 99% there, but we didn't want to sort of risk breaking it out for download, so we sort of kept it under our hat. And then when we got back from download, we played TechFest and we played Radar, and we played Koenig at those two shows, and we kind of all just got off stage and just went, we ain't in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. This isn't sertraline. This is a whole new different thing. This is a different animal. We're writing in a very different way. I can't emulate what Lizzie used to do. She's a very, very talented singer, and she sings in a totally different way to me. It wasn't something that I felt comfortable to emulate. It wasn't something that the lads wanted me to emulate. So we had this totally different product, and we kind of said to each other, it's time. Like, if we're going to do it, we've got to do it now. So we did, and yeah, we just sort of met up in a practice room and just went, right, who do we want to be? How do we want to brand ourselves? What do we want to do moving forward? And it's I think it's the best thing that we've ever done. In my opinion, I think that the other lads would agree. We're really, really happy with where we are and what we're doing.
Mark Zuckerberg didn't like it though.
Zuckerberg, not a fan.
No.
He never got back to me on Instagram, by the way.
Oh, what a dickhead! No. What a dickhead!
What a total tool, man!
Who turned down a call in like that?
Do you know what I mean? What a joker!
Zuckerberg, if you're watching this, which you're probably not,
I bet he is.
Wrong.
But if you are,
started these lads out straight away.
What a joker, mate! What an absolute joker! But
that held us back in a few ways. It was getting annoying to approach promoters and go, oh, we're not actually sertraline. We're this now. We've rebranded, but we're struggling with social media at the moment. It was very annoying. So
it was becoming a right pain in the ass. And to be fair, the only way that we actually managed to change the name in the end was because we knew someone who worked at Facebook, like through this mad, like, series of connections that we had. So all I can say is, if you're planning on changing your name on Facebook, don't. It's an absolute disaster.
I already went through that. I changed the spelling on ours like years ago, and it just went like, it was like a day it took them.
Oh my god!
That's what.
Well, unless either something changed or we were doing something drastically wrong repeatedly.
I think something changed, because Spotify was the hardest to change though, because they wanted like proof of social media accounts and all this other stuff. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we didn't end up changing the Spotify. We did end up setting up a new Spotify, which I think was the right call. Because we did want that sort of true representation of how many people wanted to come and listen to the new music. We actually hit a really big milestone the other day that Mike pointed out to us, where Waterlines now has more monthly listeners than sertraline, which is nice. Yeah. So that was a little milestone. So yeah, like hitting loads of little milestones, and I think with the social stuff, I've always been properly anti-social media. I really don't like it. It makes me mega anxious. I just it gets under my skin a little bit. And Mike's missus Vic does a lot of our social media for us. She's an absolute wizard at it. I'm never going to tell her that to her face, but she is. She's an absolute wizard at it. Don't tell me she's there, Mike. She is. She's there.
No, she's upstairs. It's fine. She's in the shower.
We're all right. It's fine. We can
in all fairness, she'll probably watch this though. So you know.
Well, yeah. To be fair, yeah. But so what? So she was going at us for ages, saying you have to get on TikTok. You've got to get with the times. You've got to go. And I was kicking back hard. I did not want to get on that. And you know what? We've been on TikTok for. Obviously, I tried to push back against Vic, so we compromised, and Vic got exactly what she wanted. And we went on TikTok, and we must have been on for a couple of weeks now, and we've got a video on there at the minute that's on like 60,000 views. It's mental. Like, the engagement on that platform is
show me your fucking secret, because I can't figure that platform out at all.
Mate, it honestly,
well, it's great. The whole purpose of why she's doing it is to push towards Instagram and Spotify, and it's working. Spotify
is doing exactly that.
The listeners have been steadily going up every day.
I need to pay someone to do that shit, don't I?
we've only got 2 songs out at the moment, and it's climbing and climbing and climbing. So
Nice.
after let's say how after a few more releases on this trajectory, see where we are in a year's time, and see what festivals want to book us.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, like at the end of the day, I approached Ben because I'm like, right, you're in a new band. I know Sertraline. I've seen Sertraline play a fair few times around Manchester over the years. You know, never had the pleasure. I don't think I've had the pleasure of playing with you guys, but you know, that's how it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's the chat to you anyway, man.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I knew for a fact that you guys weren't gonna like release anything subpar because the musicianship has always been superb.
Thank
And
you, man.
having Ben in the fold as well is just like, yeah, Ben, you coming back to Slammer, mate? You know, it's like because when Solar Shift played, like they were one of the most like talked about bands of the day because the energy and why not have them headline? That makes sense.
It was a total surprise to me, man, because like moving from Solar Shift to what was Sertraline, what is now Waterlines, was like it felt like a really big step to me. It felt like I was moving from one level of band to another level of band. Now that's not nothing against Solar Shift. We really enjoyed Solar Shift. We had a lot of fun, and I think we wrote some good tunes. But the amount of time that Sertraline had been about, the amount of effort that they put into the band to get it to where it was, and the amount of knowledge that these guys have got was mind blowing to me. And it was a real surprise when you sort of came to me and said, "Do you want to do it? Should we do this?" And I was like, "Absolutely!" And I think
that's such a grin on your face.
Yeah, man, it was amazing because
me, Tom, and Cy were having a video call a bit like this, and we were talking about each of there were sort of 3 contenders, really, realistically, and you were at the top of the pile from the beginning. And we thought, when do we let him know? When are we having a call? We're sort of busy this day. And then I kind of went, well, let's see if he's busy now. Let's do it now. And about 5 minutes later, you were on the call with us, and your big old smile came up. It's like, let's do it. It was great.
Yeah, and it was, and I think one of the first things we did, we came off Download, we played Tech Fest and stuff, and then you got in touch, Rick, and I was just like, yeah, man, we've got to keep on this trajectory. We've got to keep keep that level of showmanship that we had, and just try and constantly improve on it. And I think that just coming back off tour 2 weeks ago, we really felt that the musicianship is one thing, but we really felt that showmanship pick up a level. I think that the live show has certainly reached a level which, for me, I've never felt that I've been at before. I think the lads are getting off stage saying, "Yeah, I think we've kicked it up a notch," and it just feels really good to be on a trajectory. It feels really good to be working really hard at something and seeing and feeling the benefits every time you do your job, every time you perform. So yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure so far, man, and I can't wait to show some new stuff at Slammer. It's going to be
That's
sick.
awesome. If you've been kicked up a notch, oh my god, that's going to be.
Oh mate, we've been kicked up about 11 notches, mate. It's next level. It's quality.
Speaking of the live show though, like, what's the best gig you've played this year so far? Then, not the biggest, not necessarily like the most people, the best one, the one you've got off stage. You thought that's the fucking one.
Right. Okay. Well, do you know what? Weirdly. And I don't know if Michael agree, because we've played some quality venues this year. We've played with some great bands. We've played with some. We played at some. It was really good sound, really good lights, all of this sort of stuff. But the one that really stuck out to me, right, was Tour, and it was Bristol, because right, okay, so we get to Bristol. And we know that Waterlines is pretty much starting from scratch. All right, there's not a lot of people who know who we are. We're still trying to build that brand name. We're trying to show everybody that, we took Sertraline, we tweaked it, we've got this new thing, and you're gonna love it. So we knew that we were going to go out on tour. We knew that it was going to be, we were going to have some slow nights and some good nights, and that was going to be the way. So we went to Bristol and we played a venue called the Griffin. Have you ever been, Rick?
I've been very long time ago. I've not played there.
So, like, when you talk about a small venue, you say, "Oh, it's like the size of my living room." Mate, my living room is bigger than that venue. It's mental. It was tiny. So we walked in, and so we were playing with another couple of bands. There was nobody there. It was bands playing to bands. It was mental. It was one of those really disheartening shows that you get sometimes, and it happens to everyone. It happens to the best of us. And literally, we kicked into our first song, and from nowhere, all these students from the local student union rock society just flooded into this room, and we ended up having an absolute rager. And I think that it's always the gigs where you don't expect you don't expect much, or you don't expect anything, or whatever. And those surprising gigs, they just give you a proper little boost, because like I say, you can, it's a real reality check when you play to a dead room. Like I say, it happens to the best of us. It's just one of those things from time to time. And it's a proper reality check to play to nobody. When that gets turned on its head and you actually end up with a bouncing, sweaty room, everyone's involved, everyone's getting stuck in. Mate, that's what dreams are made of, man. It was absolute quality. Really, really good.
They were immediately.
Sorry?
They were immediately. So as soon as they came in the room, everyone was smiling and bouncing up and down. It was. We were all. I was turning around to Sarah, going, "Look, there's people. Where'd they come from?"
We had similar. I've had similar experience when we supported Raging Speedhorn. It was like there wasn't many people in there when I took the stage. But about a minute into the set, I looked up and I was like, "Fuck, right, this is cool." It was pretty fucking sick. So I can understand that one. It's a good one, man. It's a good feeling. But you get those gigs where you play to 3 people, but those gigs where you play to 3 people and you just basically still bouncing around anyway because you think, fuck it, why not?
100%.
Like, it doesn't matter. You put on the same show as you would to 5 people, to 50 people, as you would to 5, to 100 people. And those 3 people will be like, these guys played to a dead room like it was packed. That's mint.
Mate, a 1,000,000%. Like, I think there's 2 parts to that. Like, one is I remember watching a band in the York in Bolton. You've been to the York, haven't you, Rick?
Yeah, I've played there a few times. You saw me play there.
Oh yeah, cool, of course. Yeah, we played the same show. But anyway, right, yeah. So at the York, and I was in there with Ryan from Clash Mute, and we'd just gone out for a quiet beer, and we noticed that there was a free gig on. So we went in there, and we were like, "Oh my god, there's nobody here." There was literally, it was me and Ryan at the bar, and a band took the stage called Graphic Nature, right? And I swear to God, I've never seen. Honestly, I tell everybody about that show because there was literally me and Ryan in that room, and this band who just came on stage and absolutely killed it. And Graphic Nature are doing bits now, man. They're all over the shop. They're on some right good shows. And they literally played to me and Ryan, and they absolutely killed it. But I think the other part of it as well is that when you start to move up the ranks of bands, so when you're a young band and you're just starting out on your first shows, you do a lot of shows for free. You do a lot of shows where you end up paying to do them. You even if it's not pay to play, you're paying for your parking, you're paying for your fuel, whatever. It ends up costing you money. I think as you start to move up the ranks of bands and you do start to take a fee for the work that you do, you've got to recognize at that point that you're a professional. You're a professional musician. Somebody is paying you to provide a service, and you owe it to that person to provide said service, whether there's nobody in the room or whether there's 1,000,000 people in the room. You owe it 100%. To the promoter. You owe it to the organizer of the gig who've paid you to supply a product. So you get on stage and you supply the product. And I think that's really, really important, especially for young bands who are just getting into it.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. Any young bands or bands watching this now can probably relate to the, pretty much paying your way to get to shows. I mean, we still do it. We still do it more often than not, because, like, for us, it's more of we like to play. We each have jobs that we're very lucky in that respect. We're not. We're in a unique position where we can just do whatever we want. And we write whatever we want, and we put out whatever we want. We don't really have any expectations on it, which is liberating, but kind of sometimes
Yeah.
wish that we did. But I've just looked up Graphic Nature actually, and they seem to be doing absolute fire right now.
Mate, yeah, they're killing it.
I'll get in touch with them.
Yeah, mate, they're absolutely killing it. And like I say, you know, there's the reality check right there. There's this band out there who are doing some right good stuff at the minute. They're releasing good music. They're on the good shows, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And they literally played a free gig to me and Ryan in the York in Bolton. It is a reality check. It is a reality of being in a band. Every now and then you are going to play a show and there's going to be no one there. And you better believe you've got to put on the show same as you would in any other place.
I mean, I've been to gigs. I've been to gigs at in like friggin' Wigan and St. Helens and all kinds of places like where there's been 5 or 6 people.
Yeah,
well, that's how I got to know other bands, and most of the bands playing Slammer I've seen in that situation before now. So yeah, absolutely, just don't give up and just keep fighting the fight, man.
100%. And I think that like you realize that the more time that you're in a band, you realize that you do feed off the crowd. You can't help it. So it is so much easier to play a killer show when there's a crowd in front of you that are enjoying your music and getting behind it, and that makes it so much easier for you to sort of reach inside and drag out that secret stuff that makes you move. So I think if you can do that when there's nobody in the room, if you can still get up on stage and provide the performance that you should in front of nobody, you can do it in front of anybody.
Yeah, I always use the analogy of Perry Saturn wrestling with a mop. When Perry Saturn used to do those, did you ever watch wrestling back in the Attitude Era and stuff?
I'm so sorry, mate. You've lost me.
This dude basically had a mop, right? He had a mop, called it Moppy. Right, and he used to wrestle with the mop, but because obviously it's mostly reliant on, he could still do all the moves with this mop and make it look like he was wrestling a person. It's like that's the analogy I use in my head when you tell yourself like, you know, perform to no one, because at the end of the day, if you can still do the same job, then it's all good. So that's how
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yes. What's your top 3 bands at Slammer then? Agent 47's off the table for this discussion because I'm here. So apart from Agent 47, because that's off the table for the discussion. So what 3 bands are you looking forward to watching?
Obviously, it was Agent 47, but you know you've taken it off the table now, so that doesn't.
Otherwise, it feels like I'm fishing. You know what I mean? So I take that off the table.
I can get that. I
can't remain impartial. You know what I mean?
Well, I've got a couple of friends at Slammer. It's going to be a bit of a mates fest. But for me personally, I've got to mention first and foremost, I've got to mention Clash Mute, and I know that Mike would mention Clash Mute as well. We've just been on tour with them. Ryan's my best friend, and to be fair, mate, like they are nothing if not a fucking whirlwind on stage. They are next level energy, and I. You know, whenever I'm talking with Ryan, we always say the same thing to each other. I would much rather give 110% into my show and bum a couple of notes than play everything note perfect and not give the energy. And literally, Ryan just puts on 150%. That all the lads do. All the lads do when they're on stage. They're doing what they love and they're quality at it. So definitely check them out. I know Calvin's a friend from Portrayal as well, and I know Portrayal are doing bits around the Manchester scene at the minute. It's been really nice, really humbling to watch Calvin and the Portrayal lads grow and move on to their new stuff. I think that the new stuff that they're writing is absolutely sick. It's so good.
Do you know the secret that they played Bloodstock?
Do you know what? I'd never heard that. I've never heard that.
You told me the other day, blew my fucking mind.
How funny that Calvin never mentioned it. How strange. And then, to be honest, one of the single greatest festival opener of all time. They're not the openers anymore, but the lads. Oh my! Wow! How embarrassing is this now?
Recall
I was
the
literally
Remains.
just thinking of the band name, and then it fell out of my head. Recall the Remains. I knew that, but I've seen them play like 2 or 3 times. I've played a couple of shows with them. I love the band and I love the music that they do. But Jacob, the vocalist, is just God tier vocals. He's just God tier vocals, mate.
His energy, his stage performance, his movement,
man.
Everything about that lad. And this is what I sat down and I went over to Jordan before the Head P gig in Wrexham that we played with him. And I was like, right, here's the deal. Right, I have a short list for like dropouts and stuff for Slam. I always have a short list. They were on the top of the short list. So have you got any preference on like slots? No. Right, okay. But the opening slot came up. So I messaged him. He's like, "Oh, just go see what's his name? Go see Dan Carter." So I mailed Dan Carter with all the details. He's like, "Yeah, of course, man, no problem." I'm like, "Right, okay." But now the opportunity has been to hoist them up a little bit, which is good. Not that they need to push, but hoist them up a little bit. And the new openers, I think you guys will proper dig. I know you like your new metal, Ben.
Oh yeah. So
I'm going to say it here first before I actually announce it anywhere, because this won't come out for another week. But yeah, the new openers NTT or Entity,
right?
Played with them at Wangies this year with Ruled by Raptors, I think. And they came all the way from Kent, and they tore that place a fucking new one. Even had a Linkin Park cover in the clip as well.
I love that. I mean, to be fair, I've probably there's probably only 2 or 3 bands on that lineup that I haven't seen live before and don't know much about. Deified as another example. I've seen them play a couple of times. Again, next level vocals, so much energy in the band. From what I can see, that SummerSlam day is going to be carnage from start to finish. I think it's going to be an absolute riot, mate. I'm so looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Absolutely is. Oh shit, we're coming up to time's out here. A half hour.
Are you joking? I'm just getting started, man.
I know, mate. I know. We'll have to do it. We'll have to do another one down the line. But no, I mean, it's going to be a crazy one. Definitely. I expect bodies to be flying everywhere, and I expect the place to be packed. So if you're watching this and you haven't got your ticket for SummerSlam already, you better hurry up because it will be packed. And
what are you doing?
It will sell out. So. Get him.
Oh, unbelievable. Get him. Go get him now. What are you doing?
It's 15 quid for 13 bands. Headlined by these gentlemen.
Just over £1 a band.
Well, the only reason it's £15 is because the expenses got higher. So
yeah, of course.
I kind of had to. Otherwise, it would still be 12 or 9 or whatever. But I mean, the first one was
what time does it kick off?
12 midday.
Right, so literally you're talking almost 12 hours, about maybe 11 hours.
10 hours. 10
right,
hours.
10 hours of time. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't, like, literally, it costs you 15 quid to go to the cinema for an hour and a half. Like, yeah, like 15 quid for 10 hours of bands is just no brainer. No brainer.
I can't wait finish with that. I've had my eye on it for ages, so I can't wait.
Well, that's good. Great. It's good, man. I'm getting more and more people being like, so what's this SummerSlam thing? Well, let me tell you about it. I'd love to.
Yeah.
It's I organise it every year. Well, it was only supposed to be a one-off, one and done. And I was talking to Ryan the other day actually about other related stuff. And he was like, well, to be asked back to Slammer is good because you were one of the first people to pay us for doing a gig and also one of the first people to push us a little bit further and stuff. Because I put them on like the first Slammer, like pretty high on the lineup because I knew they could do it. I had faith in them. And that's why I've got you guys headlining because I know you can pull it off. I know you're going to do the job. I know you're going to do it justice. And I know Ben's energy and I know that he will not disappoint.
We ain't disappointed, mate. I can say that I'm not. I hate blowing my own trumpet, but honestly, this band, mate. I'm proud to be in this band. I think you should be proud of the stuff that you do, of the stuff that you write. I'm proud to be in this band because I know for a fact that if I wasn't in this band, I would be going watching Waterlines play live.
You should be because you guys are doing a fantastic job. Oh my god, I've been watching the videos you guys have been doing sound checks with pop songs and stuff.
Oh,
I just want a medley of that at Slammer, please. The sound check.
We keep getting asked for that. We're going to end up being a pop cover band.
Well, thing is, you guys will actually get you guys will probably do a proper sound check. You'll be in early, I take it, to do a proper sound check beforehand, right?
Yeah,
we'll get you doing a proper sound check, and then the first band will do a line check. So you've got plenty of time there to fanny about. We'll probably get in the venue
about Rick. This is really serious sound checking. I'll have you know. This is proper diva stuff, mate.
I know your voice has improved so much, though. Like, not when it was shit beforehand, because it was not.
But, just practice, man. It's just time and effort. It's the same as everything else. You know, everything vocally for me. Has felt in a better place than I've ever felt before. Surely just because of the amount of time that I'm putting into it, and it makes the difference. Again, if you're a young starting band, there's nothing better than time. Just keep cracking on.
Especially if you're a vocalist, because improper technique really screws you up. I mean, I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, 100%. Improper technique will do you in, and I think also you can neglect cardio. You don't realize how much energy you are going to burn on that stage. It's one thing to mosh around; it's another thing to scream while you're doing it, and then it's another thing if you're going to mosh around, scream all the way through a track, and then try and do clean singing as well. It's a challenge, man. It's fun and it's great to do and it's rewarding, but it's you've got to put the time into it.
Yeah, even from a guitar standpoint, Mike, you've got to understand that as well. I mean, you can't play and bounce around and be a lunatic on stage as well as doing other stuff unless you're got your technique down as well, especially with that left hand.
Oh, it's the right hand for us at the moment. It's an awful lot of down picking, so you've got to have your wanking wrists on point.
Well, I mean, like, being a bass player and a vocalist, I don't really get much chance to move around and whatnot. When I do, I tend to spot where I'm at and aim for a bass drum of some sort to jump off of, because it's free and easy. But you know,
100%. So I think if we're how long have we got, Rick? What's on the timer?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. We've got to do a cheeky plug, mate.
Yeah, go for it. Whatever floor's yours, Ben.
Plug. All right. So first off, you need to go and listen to Koenig. It's out right now. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's all over the shop. Go and check it out. It's sick. And I think that when we play that live, it reaches another level. So you need to go and listen to Koenig. Now, also, keep your eyes peeled, because potentially before SummerSlammer, we might have a little surprise for you. Might have a little treat for you. So keep your eyes peeled. We've got loads of stuff in the works. We are knee deep in new music, new ideas, all sorts of stuff. So if you're not following us on the socials, go and follow us on the socials, and we'll keep you abreast of everything that's going on.
Sounds perfect.
There you go. I'm done. That's it.
Oh, I'll put that stuff in the description anyway. Links and whatnot to Koenig and links to all the other good stuff you can find these guys. And with that, I'm going to wrap that up because I need to go and do grown-up stuff now.
Yeah, fair play, man. Fair play. Mate,
right, boys, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having us on, dude.
No worries. I will speak to you guys real soon. Take care.
Thank you very much, man.
See you soon, man. Bye-bye.